Hey everybody, thought I'd do a quick surprise live stream to go over the news for this week and all the new features. Well, two new features, three new features maybe. But go over that stuff. Wood is actually unable to do the news vid this week because he's out of internet access. His internet went down, so that sucks. And Kirsten is actually out internet access right now too. She's out power, so crazy stuff going on in the world. But you know, I'm happy to give you guys the news. Figured I might as well do it in a live stream. So here we go. Hey Yoshi, you are the first. Yes. Welcome. So I guess YouTube is connected then. That's good. Hey Enrico. Jose. Welcome guys. So if you guys, those of you just joining, I'm just going to go over some quick news for this week because we're not getting a regular news vid going. We got both Wood and Kirsten are out internet access and out power right now, so we're kind of this is my last ditch effort. I'm your last ditch news guy. Hey Steven. So we'll wait a few minutes or wait a few seconds for other people to join and then we'll get started here. Don't have a lot to go over, but some cool two new features from the poll are already done. So that's the main thing we'll be going over, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do going forward next week and stuff like that. Hey Godsend. Hello to Texas. There's a lot of retro gaming people in Texas, I've learned. Persona 5. That's something I've wanted to try because Wood goes on and on about Persona 5. Australia is watching. Hey Shanzo. Shanzo. Hey James. How is... I haven't seen anything from Twitch. I guess I should check to make sure Twitch is actually connected here. We are at a very different time than usual, so we might have a few less viewers than typical. Although I'm not sure we're even live. We are live. Good. All right. All right, guys. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you, Shanzo. From Spain. Hey, Ale. 1:23 a.m. Are we in the past? Of course we are, James. We're retro gamers. We live in the past. All right, let's get going. Basically, we got two new things implemented this week. Things from the poll. Actually, let me pull up the poll. Might as well, quickly. Poll results. And we'll take a look at that first here. So here's our poll results. You guys have seen this a bunch of times by now. But LaunchBox Games Database on top, and I did have to work on that some in order to get the duplicate images stuff done, but we'll get back to that. Duplicate images are the thing that's one of the two things I focused on this week. The other thing was the background updates. So a little bit of number 1, but number 2 and number 4 are what I focused on this week. And we got The background update's completely done, and basically the duplicate image prevention thing completely done as well. Although there's always more we can do to make that more and more advanced. But I'm happy with it for this particular release. And I'll show you guys that stuff in a second. When are we getting 8.0? I don't know. I have no idea. Well, we're working on 7.10. We're not going to put out 8.0 until we get some major features in there. And the other thing is, we've been like pushing these version numbers like crazy. So I don't know. We might get to 7.20 before we put out 8.0. We'll see how that goes. Hey, LockBez. But, anyways, so the two new things, background updates. If we go into, there's not a whole lot to see here, of course, but you go into Tools, Options, and then go into Updates. We now have a new option to automatically download updates in the background. So basically what this will do is it will automatically download any updates that are available, either beta or official releases, in the background, and then prompt you when they're available instead of forcing you to wait for them. And that should, it's just less annoying that way. Basically, by the time you see a dialog to say that there's an update available, then it will already have been downloaded, and it'll just be a few second wait instead of, a 5-minute wait or whatever it is to download the update. So that is a win, and obviously that was pretty high up on the poll. So I'm glad to knock that out. That was a pretty simple, well, relatively simple thing to do, although it required some server stuff as well, but it's done. And then, a little bit more exciting, although not that much more exciting, I was surprised that both of these things were so high up on the poll, to be honest, because they're not the most fun things in the world, but they are important. Duplicate image prevention. So we added CRC checks, basically checksums to all the images, both on Emu Movies. Emu Movies already had the CRCs, but also in LaunchBox, on the LaunchBox Games database, we added CRC checksums to all the images, so that we can now recognize when there's a duplicate, better anyways, an exact duplicate, and not re-download the image. So now if I was to go to select all my Atari 2600 images and go down and download metadata and media, and we'll walk through the wizard, and I'm going to keep everything checked. And hopefully I don't screw with the stream here, guys, by doing this, but we'll see how it goes. It's parsing the Emu Movies list right now. We'll keep everything checked there as well. And now if we select the middle option that says yes, but do not replace any existing fields or media, it will no longer download any duplicate images. So previously when you did this, it would only download images if you didn't have any images in that category, which isn't ideal. Now what it will do is it will go ahead and download anything new, but ignore anything that already exists in your collection. So that is the win there. I guess there's no reason to actually do this because it wouldn't download any images because I basically just did it. But that is part of it. The other part of it is under Tools, Clean Up Images. I just revamped this today in Beta 2. Beta 2 just came out. And in Clean Up Images, this has been reworded a little bit, but it will now search for duplicates and remove duplicates from your collection. So we'll go ahead and walk through that. And again, hopefully, the other thing that I changed here was I made it use all the cores on your computer, have threads for every single core available on your computer, including hyper-threading and all that stuff to speed it up. So hopefully it doesn't screw with the stream because I'm using all my CPU. We'll find out. But go ahead and hit yes, and it's going to go through. A lot of this is all new. We now have a cancel button so you can cancel it and stuff. It's going to go through basically all your games and look for all the images that are actually being used, and then also look for any duplicates using a checksum, and ultimately it will go through and delete them. Delete any duplicate images and delete any images that aren't being used. So that's basically the new features for this week. Nothing that exciting, but they were both within the top 5 voted features, so obviously you guys wanted them. Let me catch up on some comments here. Just a couple of them. Skip 8 reminds me of Windows 8. What is Skip 8? Oh, 8.0, of course. 8.0 will come with a portable 128 gigabyte pen drive. Yeah. Background updates is a good improvement. Yes, it is. I think this stuff, I mean, it's stuff that really needed done. It's nothing that exciting, but it is good stuff to get done. And it is going to really save a lot of people a lot of time. So I'm pretty happy with that. And this in particular is going to save you guys a lot of space, hard drive space. Because we've always focused on downloading as many images as possible, to give you the best experience possible. But we've been way too liberal with space, and there's been lots of duplicates in people's collections. So this will really help that situation. Absolutely, doll. Thank you. Hey, Refresh. So that's where we're at, guys. Don't need this to be a long stream or anything, but I'm up for feedback, and I'll respond to you guys. I don't know. Oh, going forward, we can talk about going forward what I'm planning to do next week. So I have 4 different immediate focuses that I'm planning to tackle. I'm not sure the order, but starting next week, I'm going to be working on the LaunchBox Games database. Obviously, that's the number one thing on the poll, and we're going to be, doing a lot on that, a lot to make the data better, to populate the data, to provide ways for media creators to batch upload entire collections of media to better populate the games database with more quality stuff, and lots of stuff along those lines. Another thing that might excite some people is Vlansix has joined us again. He had to take some time off for life, work, and other stuff like that, but he's joining us again, which is extremely exciting. I'm really, really happy that he hit me up. And he is going to join us in a little bit more of a well, he's going to be paid this time, which is exciting. So even though it will be a part-time kind of thing, he'll be a contractor for us. He's going to be paid. So I'm happy to get Vlansix on board. That really is some big news for this week. So that's pleasing, and he will be working on the LaunchBox Games database. So I'll be able to continue on LaunchBox development. I'm sure I will do some on LaunchBox Games database as well, but now we have a little bit more hands working on things. He's already proven himself as extremely valuable to us, so I'm really excited to have him back working on LaunchBox stuff. So there's 4 things. I'll get back to that. I keep going off on tangents. 1 is the LaunchBox Games database. 2 is big box plugin support. I'm excited about that one, so I really want to tackle that one. That is in the top 5. So that's a big one for me. I really want to tackle that one next week. More improvements to the theming engine. I have made some minor tweaks recently. I'm talking about the big box theming engine for themes in big box. There's a huge list of requests from our awesome theme developers to get some more cool stuff going there. And then finally, performance improvements, specifically the startup process. When you first load up LaunchBox and Big Box, I want to start there and try and improve the performance on there by adding some extra threading and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. I've improved the startup performance so many times for LaunchBox and Big Box that it feels like, is there really any more I can do? But the funny thing is, there always is. And threading is going to be the next step. So we'll be working on startup performance as well. So those are the 4 things. LaunchBox Games Database, Big Box plugin support, theming engine improvements, and performance improvements are what I want to focus on going forward for the next week, 2 weeks, whatever, however long it takes. And then, of course, we'll get back to the items from the poll. And, of course, a lot of those items are on the poll. So that's the thing. And this finished. Of course, I didn't find anything because I just ran this process. But it is quicker than it used to be, which is nice. And when we're also adding new stuff, like the CRC checks are all new. So anyways, it's quicker and it's doing more stuff. So that's nice. But let me catch up on comments here. Not excitement, but very useful. Exactly. What's going on, Retro? Strange time for a stream. Yep, I'm just doing a surprise stream here to demo some new stuff. Hey, Thomas. Thomas is the awesome artist who built the platform category images that come with LaunchBox now, or come with Big Box now, and they're beautiful. I love them. Steven, so what are your plans for the database? Have you decided what way to go? Well, I just discussed that a little bit, I assume. But if you have any more specific questions, let me know what those are, and we can get into that. If you have any ideas, let me know. Doll Retro just found your channel and subbed about a week ago. Small world. That's cool. Hey, Vissy. Was setting up Rocket Launcher. That's for Retro. Personally excited for the plugin support. Me too, man. Me too. We already have Gorilla. Gorilla has already started making plugins, which is exciting. But I'm going to make it a little bit easier for him, and then also, well, not make it easier, but get it so that he can use LaunchBox data, and then anybody else who can come up and make plugins as well. I know we've had a lot of requests over the past months for that, so I'm excited to get it going and see what people can build. It'll be awesome. Good to know, Alex. That's great. I'm glad to hear that is fixing those issues. I know there was a lot of confusion surrounding, particularly in the download metadata and media wizard. There was a lot of confusion specifically surrounding this. So people would say yes, but do not replace any existing fields or media, and then they'd wonder why new images weren't downloaded. And it was because it was only downloading images for categories that didn't have any, because it didn't have any proper duplicate checking, and so it couldn't really do a good job of restricting them. But now we do, so that's great. Hey, Ali. Clean Windows 7. Real problems with Big Box right now. If you're going to install Clean OS, consider upgrading to Windows 10, because Windows 7 is definitely getting a bit long in the tooth. And there's no doubt that everything is faster, including Big Box, on Windows 10 over Windows 7 these days. We'll be interested what the community comes up with plugin support, especially seeing what they have done without it. Absolutely, it'll be awesome. Ali, so what is being done added to the database? We just went over that a little bit. A couple of focuses are, well, one thing I need to do in LaunchBox related to the database is get alternate titles supported in the search mechanisms. Another thing is providing a way for media creators to upload an entire set of images in batch, and that's a focus. Another thing is just simply getting the data better, using open sources of the data. Open source sources doesn't make any sense. Open sources of the data that have good proven data that they don't mind us taking. We're going to be batch uploading to the database to better populate everything and stuff like that. So basically, I want to focus on the data largely, but then also we'll be fixing various issues with the website, including some performance issues and stuff like that. So I haven't defined any new features really for the LaunchBox Games database because I haven't thought about it significantly. We'll probably consider doing that stuff after we get what I just talked about done. So that's the current plan. But let me know what what you guys want when it comes to the database. I know there's a big long request list. We have Bitbucket for the games database, which I'll be going through as well. Oh, you have Windows 10 right now, and you're looking to go back to Windows 7? Honestly, no, that's a horrible idea. I wouldn't do that. I don't know what issues you're having, Ale, but no, I wouldn't go back to Windows 7. Thank you, Brad. I really appreciate that. Aiden, thank you very much. All right, guys. Well, hit me up if you got any questions quick, and I will address those. I've gone over pretty much everything I wanted to go over in this stream. So we probably end it soon. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on all the new stuff for this week. And this is the video that I'll be linking in the email, since Kirsten and Wood are both out of internet, out of power, whatever. So that's about it, folks. Glad to be of service. All right. How y'all doing today? Had me at alternative titles. Sweet. Will more alternative names be possible on the database because some games have multiple alternative names? I think it will already support any number of alternative names, Ali. Although the biggest thing is we need that data populated. Good improvement to insert games on the database via XML or CSV. Yeah, and the only issue with that, I do plan to add something like that. The problem is we can't trust the entire community to put good data up in batch like that. So I am going to build a tool to do that, and there will be a small number of people who have access to that tool, and all the data that goes up in batch like that via some kind of XML or CSV approach will have to go through one of those people that have access to it. There's no way we could open up XML or CSV to the entire community or even the entire moderator base and have good results. It would be a huge mess if we did that. Did you say you'll work on platform database next week? What do you mean by platform database? Refresh. It's the next morning here already. Sure. I use VMDB links when I get my soundtrack for my games, so I know if I got real one. It'd be great to see links to them. FFPoke, I haven't heard of VMDB, so I'm not fully following you there. Population will happen. Yep. Brad, love the tutorials and RSS vids. You have a great thing going. Would love to be able to play music for platforms for LaunchBox. Sure. Thank you, Brad. That makes sense. Yeah, there's no platform-specific background music right now, which I believe is what he's getting at. We have background music, but it's not platform-specific. Rob, is there any news on Amiga WHD load games with Rocket Launcher? No, there isn't, actually. And I need to refresh myself on that whole setup. I'm really blind to it right now, and I know you're probably getting frustrated because I keep saying that. But I have to refresh myself on it. Stingy Jack, any chance of getting ETA or Brad to do a video on using shaders in Retroarch? Or perhaps a recommendation to do another channel that's done it. Shaders, sure. That's feasible. I could talk to ETA on that. That makes sense. Actually, put a comment on one of ETA's vids, Stingy Jack, because he does read all those and definitely has focused on the comments, doing the things that have come up in the comments. So definitely comment on one of his vids. Already added about 300 ZX Spectrum games, and it's a little bit allo. I don't know what that means. Video game music database. Ah, I see. Sure, that makes sense. Wow, I didn't know that existed. I'll have to check that out. That sounds cool. Hey, K-Money, what's going on? That is what you're going for, sure. Something about databases next week. Missed what you said. No worries, refresh. Database, yeah, we'll be working on the LaunchBox Games database a bit next week in some capacity. I'm just not sure exactly what. But that is the number one thing on the poll, and so that is definitely going to be a focus here. Soundtrack covers for games. Ah, sure. Yeah, that'd be neat. That'd be very cool. More systems. Sure. Yeah, as we tackle the data on the LaunchBox Games database, adding more systems definitely makes sense. And we have gone through and tweaked that recently. But let me know. Add a Bitbucket ticket if there's a system that you want to see added there, so we know what systems to add. But also, I have to go through. If I pull up the LaunchBox Games database, One thing that's annoying is not every single platform has a description and has an image. And one of the last things I focused on was trying to get images and descriptions on every single one of these. And there's a thread on the forums where people have compiled images and descriptions for all these platforms, which is great. And I was using that to populate them. Problem is, I don't have anything implemented on this right now for the community to upload or change any of this. So that's been tricky. So I've had to do that myself, and it's a pain in the butt. But we definitely need to finish that up as well, is get descriptions and images populated for all the platforms. Because, I mean, this is the homepage of the website. It needs to have all that stuff. So that's coming too. Maybe I can get somebody else access to it so they can get it done as well. Because I could give it to Vlansix, but I hate to give it to Vlansix because it's a pretty big waste of potential development time, I guess. But, you know, I was doing it too, so whatever. Neil K. Oh, is DOS a progress report? I don't know what you're talking about, Neil K. Can you add a 4-player list for arcade? A 4-player list for arcade. You mean a playlist for 4-player games? That makes sense. So somebody from the community could do that. I'm sure that already exists somehow, somewhere. We just need to build one for, you know, the LaunchBox playlist stuff, and then upload it to the forums, and then everybody would have access to it. But yeah, that's a good idea. Nokia N-Gage, sure. Makes sense. Super Chicken Burritos. Can it really run Android and iOS? There are emulators for Android and iOS, yes, that you can hook up in LaunchBox. Yep. Although LaunchBox doesn't run anything. LaunchBox just launches other emulators. Was ist das is German for what is this / that. So was this a progress report? Yes. I assume that's what you're saying, Neil K. But all right, guys. I'm pretty much caught up here on comments. Thanks, everybody, for joining, and have a good one. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you guys on Monday. You're training your confusion stats. You're succeeding. You're definitely succeeding. Thank you, Super Chicken. I appreciate that. But yeah, take it easy, everybody. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys on Monday morning at 9:30 a.m. PST, and we'll be diving into some of those future items for next week. Like I said, the games database, big box plugin support, more improvements to the theming engine, and performance improvements. Again, thanks, everybody, and I will talk to y'all next week.